Hello friends and dear students, myself Dr. P.K. Verma. In this session of biology, I shall discuss about kingdom Monera. That is the first kingdom that includes ancient lives of bacteria, archaebacteria, blue-green algae, etc. This kingdom includes all prokaryotes such as mycoplasma, bacteria, blue-green algae, and archaebacteria. These are prokaryote, and so they have a primitive form of nucleus or incipient nucleus made of a naked circular DNA. Naked means it has no coat of protein, no histone coat outside the DNA covering the DNA. The circular DNA makes a bunch that is known as nucleoid. It is not a true nucleus. In addition to the main chromosome, they may possess a small circular DNA known as plasmid DNA. It may bear or may not bear any functional gene. Some of the plasmids bear genes such as the resistance for antibiotics or the fertility factor containing plasmid. A plasmid produces protein colicin, so it is called colplasmid. There may be many more functional genes or different plasmids, but it needs a thorough research. The prokaryotes have no intracellular membrane, and therefore the membrane-bound cell organelles like endoplasmic reticulum, Golgi complex, lysosome, secretory vesicles, as well as nuclear membranes are lacking. They have also absence of mitochondria and plasmid. They have no microtubules and microfilaments, and therefore cytoendoskeleton, a true cilium or flagellum, spindle fibers, and the centrioles also are absent. Now come to the first type, mycoplasma. It is fungus-like prokaryote causing pleuropneumonia in the cattle and leprosy. They have no capsule and no cell wall. The bacterial cell wall is extremely thin, only 100 to 250 angstrom diameter thickness. It is made of mucopeptide, commonly called murein, or the peptidoglycans that has an alternating chain of N-acyl glucosamine and N-acyl muramic acid. Now there was a scientist, Christian Gram. He developed a technique to stain bacterial cells. He used crystal violet and iodine reagent. After staining, the blue color is washed with alcohol. When the extra color is removed, but still the cells are seen blue, it means these are gram-positive bacteria. But when the color is washed completely, it is called gram-negative bacteria. This difference in staining property is because of the differences in the composition and thickness of the cell walls. Now see in this table, here the gram-positive and gram-negative both bacteria have been compared. The first point is thickness. In gram-negative, the cell wall is thinner, and in gram-positive, the cell wall is thicker. Variety of amino acids. In gram-negative, several varieties of amino acids are there, but in gram-positive, some of the amino acids are not present. Sulfur amino acid, mainly the cysteine and methionine, are present in gram-negative bacteria, but these are absent in gram-positive bacteria. Teichoic acid, an important constituent of gram-negative bacteria and positive bacteria, it is present in the positive bacteria but absent in the negative bacteria. And lipid also is present in high amount in negative bacteria, but it is absent or scanty in gram-positive bacteria. So these are important differences between the two. In addition, the structure of flagella and attachment to the cell wall also differs. Now some bacteria have thinner layer of cell wall and do not contain teichoic acid. So these are gram-negative bacteria. That means they do not react permanently with the crystal violet and iodine reagents. On the other hand, those bacteria containing thick cell wall and up to 10% teichoic acid are gram-positive bacteria. That is, these are stained well with the crystal violet and iodine reagent. The membrane structure of gram-negative bacterium is also very much complex. Some bacteria secrete a viscous layer around its cell. This viscous material is called slime, and so the slime layer. In many cases, it polymerizes and forms a definite layer called capsule, such as in the pneumococci bacteria. The slime or capsule is chemically made of polysaccharide and gives a smooth appearance. Otherwise, it looks rough due to presence of minute membranous folds or the villi. Now see the diagram of a bacterium. These hairy structures are not hairs, rather these are membranous folds, just like the fine pseudopodia. They have also long flagellum, but it is made of solid protein, not made of 9 pairs plus 2 microfilaments. Inside the bacterial cell, there is a bunch of large circular DNA forming nucleoid, and in addition, you can see a small granular structures in the cytoplasm. These are small ribosomes containing 70S sedimentation coefficient. They have two subunits, 30S and 50S. Most pathogenic bacteria, such as those causing typhoid, cholera, plague, meningitis, syphilis, gonorrhea, tetanus, etc., are gram-negative bacteria. However, Clostridium botulinum that causes food poisoning is a gram-positive bacteria. Now come to the property. Because they lack mitochondria, there is no aerobic respiration in most of them. However, in a few bacteria, the membrane surface forms folded or vesicular structure known as mesosome. In this mesosome, enzymes of Krebs cycle and electron transport can occur because these are present attached to the membrane. So these are called aerobic bacteria. Because of absence of chloroplast and green pigment, most bacteria cannot synthesize organic food by photosynthesis. So these are heterotrophs. However, blue-green algae, which is now named as cyanobacteria, have thylakoid membrane and chlorophyll. So these are photosynthetic bacteria. Bacteria are generally classified on the basis of their shape. For example, when these are spherical bacteria, these are called cocci. Depending on their number in a group, these are monococci, that is separately cells are present. When group of 2 bacteria are there, it is diplococci. Similarly, group of 4 is tetracocci. Chain forms are called streptococci, and bunch of irregular shape is called staphylococci. Diplococci pneumoniae causes pneumonia. It is well studied. Streptococci and staphylococci cause skin infections. When staphylococci cause skin infection, it also forms pus. So staphylococci is a pus-causing bacteria. Now come to the second type, that is bacillus. These are rod-shaped bacteria or slightly elongated bacteria. These two can be named as monobacillus, diplobacillus or streptobacillus. But when they form bunch, they may be parallel to each other and it is called palisade. Escherichia coli, Bacillus coli, Bacillus tuberculosis, Lactobacillus, etc. are common examples. The third group is Vibrio. These are comma-shaped bacteria. For example, the Vibrio cholerae that causes cholera. The spiral or coil forms of bacteria are called Spirillum. Spirillum volitans and Spirillum vinogradski are common decomposer bacteria. Now see the various shapes of bacteria. In the upper figure, you see the bunch of 2 spherical bacteria are there. So this is Streptococcus pneumoniae or Diplococcus pneumoniae. Clostridium has a different shape, Clostridium tetani, causing tetanus. Vibrio cholerae has a long flagellum and comma shape, so it is the third group. The rod-shaped bacteria Salmonella typhi and slightly helical bacteria is Helicobacter pylori. This Streptobacillus moniliformis is again a bacillus because the cells are elongated and in the form of chain. The Staphylococcus is a bunch of spherical bacteria. Now come to the Archaebacteria. These bacteria are ancient bacteria. They live in extremely unfavorable environments to other organisms where other organisms do not like to live. These bacteria are considered more ancient than most other bacteria, hence called archaebacteria, the ancient bacteria. When they live in extremely salty areas, these are called halophiles. The halophiles have bacteriorhodopsin pigments to absorb sunlight. When they live in hot thermal springs, these are thermophilus bacteria. Of course, in the thermal spring, the water is acidic due to sulfur and its oxides, so it is also called thermoacidophiles. These are chemoautotrophs as they can oxidize hydrogen sulfide to get metabolic energy. The green sulfur bacteria releases sulfur by photosynthesis. Last year, the name of green sulfur bacteria was asked in the NEET examination. Those living in marshy areas where they produce methane are known as methanogen. Methanogens are strictly anaerobic bacteria and are found in guts of many ruminant animals such as cattle and buffalo. They produce biogas when animals' dung is stored in large tanks. So remember that methanogens are strictly anaerobic bacteria. One of the distinctive features of archaebacteria is the nature of lipid in plasma membrane. Unlike the esters-linked lipid of eubacteria and eukaryotes, these are ether-linked to glycerol. It simply means that in place of fatty acids, they have fatty ether, that is the long chain ethers. They are also long chains and branched. Archaebacterial cell walls and envelopes show great diversity and complexity in structure. They don't contain peptidoglycan, although some do have similar compounds known as pseudomurain. Now, there is a special bacteria, Mycoplasma. Mycoplasma is the smallest cell. When Louis Pasteur discovered it in the pleural fluid of cattle, it was named as pleuropneumonia-like organism, PPLO. It has diameter only 0.2 micrometer. The present name Mycoplasma was given by Novak in 1929. Because they have no cell wall, they can change their shape, that is, these are pleomorphic, and therefore sometimes these are named as jokers of microbiology. Cyanobacteria. Earlier it was a member of Cyanophyceae, that is a class of algae. Cyanobacteria, also known as blue-green algae, is quite different and more advanced than the normal bacteria. They have intracellular membranes similar to thylakoid membrane of the algae and higher plants. On these membranes, chlorophyll A, carotenoids and phycobilioproteins are present. Due to these phycobilioproteins, they look bluish, and due to chlorophyll A, they look greenish. They have also photosystem 1 and 2, so these are photoautotrophs. In addition, most of them can fix atmospheric nitrogen into nitrate and nitrites. Hence, these are used as biofertilizers. Now, this is a artistic diagram of cyanobacteria. It has been given green look. Outside the bacteria there is a capsule. Then the second layer is the plasma membrane, and third represents the thylakoid membrane on which chlorophyll A, carotene and bilirubins are present. Inside the cell bunch of DNA is there, and in addition there is carboxysome or neuroplast. It is just a crystal-like structure. Now it is a photograph of nostoc. It is a filamentous cyanobacteria, and the brownish large cells found here and there are the heterocyst for asexual reproduction. Mind it that bacteria has never sexual reproduction. There are 5 orders of cyanobacteria: crucocales, plurocapsales, oscillatorials, nostocales, and stygonematales. In our vicinity, some of the examples are common. Spirulina is an important example. Oscillatoria is another example. In a pond or lake containing rocky surface, Oscillatoria is found abundantly, and its filament can rotate 360 degrees. Nostoc and Anabaena are found in all ponds and lakes. Nostoc and Anabaena can grow fast in warm eutrophic water and forms the surface bloom. The entire surface of lake or pond looks green due to Nostoc and Anabaena. Oscillatoria can grow even in highly polluted ponds. It is an attached filamentous form that oscillates all around. Many cyanobacteria live as symbiont in the roots of higher plants such as cycas, in the body wall of sponges and coelentrates. It also forms association with fungi, and the symbiotic association of fungus and the blue-green algae can be seen on the surface of rocks and the bark of the trees. These associations are commonly called lichens. Now the bacteria may be autotrophic, that is, they can obtain energy by photosynthesis or from inorganic materials. They have 2 types, photoautotrophs and chemoautotrophs. The photoautotrophs are able to use light energy for synthesis of organic substances, but they do not use water as source of hydrogen, so oxygen is not evolved. The green sulfur bacteria, Chlorobium, Chloroseudomona, etc., and purple sulfur bacteria, the Chromaceum, use hydrogen sulfide and thiosulfates as source of hydrogen. This is hydrogen sulfide that breaks into hydrogen and sulfur. Hydrogen is utilized and sulfur is released. Sodium thiosulfate forms sodium bisulfate and hydrogen. Again the hydrogen is released. So the source of hydrogen is hydrogen sulfide or thiosulfate. Chemoautotrophic bacteria. They oxidize certain inorganic substances like ammonia, nitrate, nitrite, ferrous iron, etc. So the synthesis of organic substances by them is often called chemosynthesis. Hydrogenomonas, nitrifying bacteria like Nitromonas and Nitrobacter, sulfur bacteria and Ferrobacillus belong to this group. Here you can see that hydrogen is oxidized to release 56 kilocalorie energy per mole. Ammonia oxidized to form nitrite and produces 78.5 kilocals. Nitrogen dioxide is oxidized to nitrite, producing 17.8 kilocals energy per mole. Heterotrophic bacteria require organic compounds as source of carbon. The photoheterotrophs or photoorganotrophs have chlorophyll A and chlorophyll B and derive hydrogen either from molecular hydrogen or from organic compounds, but never use water or other inorganic compounds. The chemoheterotrophs derive energy from organic compounds and lead the life of saprotrophs, parasites or symbiont. Now see a list of some useful bacteria. In agriculture, Rhizobium, Nitromonas and Nitrosomonas are used. In dairy industry, Bacterium lacticeacidae and Bacterium acidilacticae are used in formation of curd and yogurt. In vinegar manufacture, Acetobacter aceti is used. Processing of jute fiber is done by Clostridium butyricum, found abundantly in the pond water. The tobacco is flavored with the help of Bacillus megatherium, and the tea leaves are processed by Mycococcus conditions. Bacteria also produce antibiotics. It is very interesting that some of the bacteria, especially Streptococci, produce antibiotics that act against growth of other bacteria, so it does not want to live with another bacterial species. Streptomyces gracius, it produces streptomycin and cycloheximide. Streptomyces ramosum produces terramycin or oxytetracycline. Streptomyces aureofaciens produces aureomycin or chlorotetracycline. Streptomyces erythraeus produces erythromycin, and Streptomyces freddi produces neomycin. These are the natural antibiotics in contrast to the modern day antibiotics which are purely synthetic. There are many pathogenic bacteria. In man, Diplococcus pneumoniae causes pneumonia. Now in place of Diplococcus, it is called Streptococcus pneumoniae. Salmonella typhosa causes typhoid fever. Vibrio cholerae causes cholera. Pasteurella pestis causes plague. And Neisseria meningitis causes meningitis. Neisseria gonorrhoeae causes genital tract infection called gonorrhea, and Treponema pallidum causes syphilis, another sexually transmitted disease. Corynebacterium diphtheriae causes diphtheria, most common in the animals. Mycobacterium tuberculosis causes tuberculosis. It is a deadly disease. Bordetella pertussis causes whooping cough or pertussis. Clostridium tetani causes tetanus. And Mycobacterium leprae causes leprosy. Bacillus anthracis causes anthrax in the animals, particularly the cattle. Clostridium chauvi causes black leg disease in the cattle. In plants, Pseudomonas solanarium causes soft rot of potato. Xanthomonas citri causes citrus canker. Xanthomonas origi causes blight of paddy. Corynebacterium tritici causes Tundu disease of wheat. This Tundu disease is asked very frequently in the medical entrance examination. Irvinia amylovora causes the fire blight of apple and peach. So you have learnt much about the various types of bacteria, their harmful and useful properties, and you are now able to answer any question related to bacteria. Thank you very much.